Welcome back. Today, I'm just out for a nice walk in the woods. No real expectations. I have my camera, and I'm just out to enjoy the morning. I got up fairly early this morning just to get out before my day starts. And one benefit is that I'm here all alone. But a downside is that as I'm walking through this trail, it's a really pretty bird. As I'm walking through these trails, I'm just getting bombarded by spider webs. So this morning my plan wasn't to photograph birds, but there's lots of cool ones here. Not a birder, but according to Merlin, the bird app that I use, there's a few birds here that I've never seen before. There is the northern parula, which I've never actually seen with my own eyes before, and a black and white warbler, and an oven bird. This is why I'm a huge advocate for just getting outside whenever you can, whether that's early in the morning or in the middle of the afternoon, and just being present and listening to the birds and being in the woods. And if you have a camera and you enjoy taking pictures, that's also a benefit, and it starts your day right. First little scene just jumped out at me, and it's this little rock. It looks sort of like quartz, and it's surrounded by nice green leaves, and it's contrasts really well with the whiteness of the stone. It just sort of jumped out at me as I was walking through, so I'll see if I can capture an image of it. One image in the bag. I came out pretty early, but I guess I didn't really have to. I thought that this little valley would light up as soon as the sun came out, but the sun is only now just starting to poke through the trees. So maybe now we'll get some more interest in here as well, in the woods. I was just taking a couple handheld images, and I stumbled across one that I think warrants a little bit more time. There's a few cascades. There's one, they're not very big, any of them, but there's one central one. And then just behind it in the background, there's three other ones that are very symmetrical. And in the foreground, there's a nice big rock with some nice green moss, so it kind of anchors the image. So I'm gonna set up the tripod and really try and work this scene. That's okay. I think I'm gonna have to raise the tripod up just a little bit to get a little bit of a different perspective. I'm really happy with this image. The one issue I'm having is that this bridge is kind of sketchy and it wobbles a lot. So I need to set a 10-second shutter release timer. Once I hit the 10-second shutter release timer, slowly get up, walk away without causing too much vibration in the bridge. Cross your fingers. Hopefully the bridge settles, and then you capture the image. I'm quite happy with that last image. I like images like that, where I kind of have to think about them. So I took a first few images and the composition wasn't quite right. So I figured that out first just by moving my tripod around. but then the images weren't sharp. So I thought about it. It didn't take very long, but I thought about it, and I realized that it's because the bridge was super wobbly, and I just increased the shutter release timer to give me a chance to walk away before. And that's what I like about photography. It's fun, it gets you outside, but it also makes you think. There's some problem solving, and anytime you're faced with a challenge, you end up learning something. And then maybe the next time I'm faced with a sketchy, wobbly bridge, I'll have to think less about it to get a picture I'm just as happy with. I'm just gonna be coming up on the river here in just a moment, so I'm trying to approach pretty quietly as to not scare away any birds that might just be in the water or on the shoreline. So nice and slow, no noise. I should have brought a book or something with me. I could sit here on this bench for hours. I might have to do that. I might have to start keeping a little book in my bag. Apparently, there's a spotted sandpiper around me somewhere. That sounds strange. I don't entirely believe it. Of course, I had just packed up my camera to head out. Now these geese are fighting. Yeah, I might have to get the camera back out. The light seems kind of interesting with the reflections on the water, so it might be worth it. Oh, and they're displaying. Yeah, that's cool. These geese are about to go at it again. Cool. So I don't know how much of that interaction you were able to see with this camera, and I didn't have enough time to film and image with my other camera, but I think those two geese that flew in came really close to a goose that's nesting around that point. So he was frustrated and he was trying to scare them away. So it just made everyone on edge, and they were quite vocal, and they were flashing their wings, and it made for quite an interesting experience. And I think I got some interesting images as well. Now what do I do? They didn't think this through very well. I don't understand why that's there. I had to walk across it, obviously, because it's a bridge, but I can easily just cross that stream. Sorry for breaking the fourth wall. Ba-doo. these are fiddleheads. It's just a stage of life for ferns, and most ferns have that stage of life, but those are the only kinds you can eat. But you have to cook them, otherwise they'll make you very ill. Lots of people love fiddleheads, but they're just not quite for me. They're one of the only things I really won't eat. They just taste a little too earthy for me, just like grass. They're really cool. Those were super cool. I wish I had a macro lens to get up even closer to really show the different textures and shapes, but I think it turned out nonetheless. I got as close as I could, and I'll just crop in as much as possible in post. I can't describe how happy I am to see flowers. I don't know what any of them are called because I'm not really a plant guy, but it really means spring is here. Consistently had spider webs on my face all morning. I've really kind of just given up trying to get them off. That's the price I pay for being the first one on the trail. Yeah, I meant to do that. Always very cautious not to step on roots, but there's the evidence. Caught it on camera, so I guess I'll share it with the world. Whew. I don't know if I'm just a wuss or I always do trails backwards, but it's so much harder to get out than it is to get in. Going downhill, all these nice switchbacks, nice and easy, getting down to the views. And then on the way back up, it's all just a straight shot up the hill. I might have to start doing hills backwards, or at least trails backwards. Pause the video quickly if you want to read that sign, but I just got incredibly excited because apparently there's wild coffee here. So I thought that'd be kind of fun to harvest some and make some bush coffee, but apparently it doesn't actually make coffee. So that's a shame. So I know I said this morning that I had no real expectations for this morning's photo walk, but in reality that may have been a bit of a lie because I checked the weather and I was kind of hopeful for some fog, which I thought would be really nice rolling off the river into the woods. But that didn't happen. But I think it paid off anyways. But I had a great time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this inspires you to take your camera for a walk because it does as much good for you as it does for the camera. See you on the next one.